Hi there, my name's Daniel. Welcome to Transport Trailer Sales. Today I'm going to be walking you through your 2017 Sunseeker 2250 SLEF. We are just going to start off at the back of the unit. Do notice that you do have your ladder to get up to your roof so you can check your seals. We also have an observation camera back there, which that customer opted to go with. You also have a 2-inch receiver in the back there with some 7-pin wiring. And stored inside the back bumper is your 20-foot sewer hose. Once fully extended, it is about 20 feet long. You do just keep it in the back bumper here to just keep some of the stuff out of the unit. Inside this compartment, as well as in this corner here, you do just have your 30-amp power cord. That just tucks away inside this rear compartment here whenever you're not using it. Whenever you are using it, you can just have it out like so. You just have your standard 30-amp plug end. Most campsites do have this and you can plug right on in, but let's say you're at home and you want to run your fridge, or your campsite doesn't have 30-amp service. We do include a 15-amp park adapter. Just keeping in mind you're going down to 15 amps of power, so you won't be able to run something like your air conditioner. Inside here is just that 15-amp park adapter. And then we do also include your starter kit, which comes with a brand new sewer hose, some gloves, a 15-foot water hose, some toilet paper. One thing I'll mention, inside this little twist compartment here, if you twist that open, you're gonna have 2 valves inside there. The first valve closest to me is gonna be your fresh tank drain. Just on the ground there. That one, that black one there, is gonna be for your bypass for winterization, and this silver one right in front of the camera is just for your fresh tank. So you're just gonna crack that guy open. Your fresh tank will start draining, and for winterization, it's just that black valve. Right below the compartment on this side, it's just your sewer outlet. That works pretty simple. You loosen this guy off, it's gonna come off. You'll take your 2 notches and line them up. And then you got your gray valve on this side, which you are gonna wanna empty last, as it's gonna be your typically a little bit cleaner water filled from your sinks and your showers. And then on the other side over here is gonna be your waste tank, your black tank. You are gonna wanna empty that first, as it's gonna be your dirtiest water filled from your toilets. Have your gas fill right here, and then this will be your city water connection. So the way that works is if you're at a site of service, you can thread a garden hose into here, turn the hose on. It's going to pressurize all the lines, allowing you to not have to run that water pump. And then your fresh tank fill is just right above that. You stick your garden hose in there, turn that on. It's going to fill your fresh water tank. That's what your water pump draws off of. Right here, you do have your hot water heater service port. You are just flipping that little thing around, pulling this down. Whenever you first get to your campsite, you are just gonna wanna give that guy a pull, and there should have been a shot of water that came out of there. This tank's currently empty, so there's no water inside of it, letting you know that it wouldn't be safe to fire up, but giving that a pull and seeing that shot of water come out would let you know that the tank is full. And then you do have an 1.16" drain bolt right down here, and that's how you drain the tank. Back in place, you're just pushing that in, closing that down. Down in this compartment here, you are just opening this up. This is going to be where you're going to be filling your propane and also turning it on. Opening that valve like so is just turning on the flow of propane to the unit. Right here is just a service port for your generator. You also do have a second switch to turn it on, which is just down here. But I will go over how to start it once we're inside the unit. And you can also check your oil here as well, and your air filter. And then you have the front of the unit. And then on this side here, if you have a portable solar panel, you can plug it right on in here. And as long as you have all the equipment, it will charge your batteries. You got two 110 plugins, as well as some storage down below. Whenever your furnace is running, this little silver port here is going to be pushing out hot air, so just be mindful of that. Right up here, you do have your range hood little vent flap. Whenever you get to your campsite, you just want to make sure that you open that flap up, allowing fumes to exit the unit. And whenever you are traveling, you're just locking that down into place. That way no excess dust gets inside the unit. This port here is just your fridge service port. There's not much left to worry about there. And then you do have another compartment on this side. To get inside the unit, you are just opening up that handle. That door is going to pop right on open. One thing I will mention is right underneath these stairs here, you do have your two house batteries. At the front, there is a bus battery for the chassis, but these are where the two household batteries stay. And then on this wall here, you do have your battery disconnect. So with your battery disconnect on, it allows you to use that 12 volt, but with your battery disconnect off, even if your batteries are connected, your batteries become disconnected from the unit. You won't be able to use anything 12 volt inside here. So always making sure if you're wanting to disconnect it and leave it for storage, you have this pointed to off, and then just turning that to on to re-enable the 12 volt. You do have a porch light switch as well as an awning LED light switch. And then you do just have your awning switch right next to that. You're just taking that button, holding it out. The awning's gonna start making its way out. Just being mindful to make sure that your door doesn't block your awning arms as they're coming out. Once that awning's fully extended, you are gonna see the back of the metal tube with a little flap hang down. There's that back of that metal tube. That little flap hanging down. Now if it were to start raining, you can take any arm, front or rear, just making sure that this is loose. You're just pulling down on it, allowing it to make its way into the arm. That changes the pitch of the awning head, allowing water to then run off. Now if you do like that angle better, you can do the same thing with the front arm, and it's going to allow for more shade underneath. So always making sure that you unlock these arms and allow them to go a full walk before you bring that awning back in. That way you don't run the risk of bending anything. And I do recommend bringing in that awning whenever the winds do start picking up. Bring it in, you're just holding that button up, and the awning's going to start making its way up, and once it contacts the side of the trailers, the motor's cut out. And there you go, that's in. Taking a step on inside, you do have a little entry light right here, just on its own center push button. You can turn that on, and then it brings you to your kind of main monitor panel area here. On your far right, you got your living room lights and your kitchen lights just on those light switches there. You do have Arctic Pack installed on here. Those are just heating pads taped to the bottom of your tanks. Allows you to go into a little bit of an extended camping season, but it would not be able to withstand our Manitoba winters. And then you do have your water pump switch right next to that. Turning that on turns your water pump on, drawing from your fresh water tank. And then you can fire that water heater up on gas or electric. If you do fire it up on gas, hitting this button, the water heater is going to try lighting itself 3 times. If on the 3rd try it doesn't light, this DSI fault light's going to come on. So at that point, you do just have to turn this switch off, give it a second, and turn it back on. It'll try relighting itself. Or you could just fire it up on electric, hitting that button turns it on. Always making sure you make sure it's full first. And then you do have your monitor panel right up top. You got your gray, your black, and your fresh, and that goes empty, 1/3, 2/3, and full. And then you do have your battery and your LPG, and that goes low, fair, good, and C is charging for the battery, and for the LPG it goes empty, 1/3, 2/3, and full. We're going to go over the generator start system now. So to get that generator to start, you do have to hold it down to stop/prime. This red light's going to come on, giving it a few seconds just to prime itself. That's just squirting fuel inside the carburetor. Hit that fire button, and the generator does fire right on up. And now you'll be able to run the house stuff. To get it off, you're just hitting that down switch. It'll turn itself off. Inside the cab part of the area, to get that slide out running, you do always have to make sure that your parking brake is engaged. And then you can come to this back wall here, And hidden right behind the slide out here is just your slide out switch button. So hitting that button down, slide out's gonna start making its way out. Once that slide out's fully extended, you're just gonna hear that motor come out. There you go, that slide out is fully extended. And here you do have some storage space as well as down below. One thing I'll mention, you take these 4 little screws out. This is going to be a false panel. It's going to pop off. Behind there is going to be your bypass valves for your water heater on the back of your water heater for winterization if you were to want to do that yourself. Up in the front you do have a little bunk area, which does have its own light on its own center push button just right here. You have this bunk extension piece that can slide in whenever you are parked at your destination, and it just sits into place like so. And then you got your ladder, which is stored right over here. You pull that out and it can hook into these little mounts here, and now you have a ladder to get up there nice and easy. To get that to unhook, it is just simply unhooking it and putting it back over here. And then you can take your buckets and put it back up top. You got your TV on the wall here, which is on its own swivel mount. Just always making sure you unlock this mount before you go anywhere or try to pull it anywhere. Once that is unlocked, it allows you to then swivel that TV to wherever you would like it. But whenever you are traveling, you are just going to want to make sure that this knob is in and tight. You don't even have to take it fully out, just loosening it off does allow it to turn. But whenever you are traveling, wherever you would like it, you are just tightening this knob down. That way it's not slamming back and forth when you're driving. And then right up here, you do have your radio. That's going to be pretty much just like home, minus the fact that you're going to have zone A and zone B speakers. It says they're C speakers, but they aren't hooked up. You do have A and B. A is going to be your interior, B is going to be your exterior. You do have a coax plug-in up here, as well as a USB plug-in, as well as a little wire port if you want to run any extra wires. Inside here, you do get your plug-in for your 12-volt plug-in for your TV, as well as you having two 110 plugins. And then there is a little black button on the other side of this coax cable. I know it's probably hard to see in the video, but if you push that button, it turns that green light on. That's turning the antenna on the roof, which does improve radio frequency, so I do recommend just leaving that on all the time. Then you got to your kitchen area, you got your kitchen sink with hot and cold water, storage down below, and then you get to your range hood, which has a light and a fan. You do have a microwave in here, which is just like home, not much I'll be able to show you there. And then you have your stove, which does just light up when you turn the knobs on. Just keep it in mind, it is a propane system, so whenever you turn it off, it allows air to go into the system. So if you leave it for a while, it can take a second to purge. To get the oven going, you are just taking that, opening that up, turning it over to that pilot option and holding that button in, taking your lighter of choice and just holding it underneath that pilot, and that pilot becomes lit, holding it in another second. Then you can turn it up to your desired temperature and it fires right on up. Like I said, sometimes it doesn't fire. It takes a few minutes just to clear all the air out of the line, so just be patient with that. You got your fridge right next to it. All the controls are just to turn it on and off or up top. And then you do have some temperature control inside the fridge. It just works up with this plastic fin. The further you slide it up that fin, the colder it's going to get, and the lower you put it down, the warmer it'll get. And then just up top, you do have your, to fire it up. With this far right button depressed, it's going to fire solely on gas. With the button flush, it's going to be on auto, so it's going to first search for shore power. Once shore power is taken away, it'll automatically switch to gas. And then to get this to turn on, you are just pushing that button down, and that's with it on. like I said, with it on auto, it is going to search for shore power first, and if shore power is taken away, then it'll switch over to gas, or you can solely run it off gas. Inside the bathroom area, you're hitting that light switch. If you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, always check your main GFI plug, which is just right in the bathroom here. You got test on the bottom, reset on the top. You got your sink with hot and cold water, medicine cabinet, and then just on the wall here, you do have a thermostat that controls your AC and your furnace. Hitting that button once, you're gonna go into fan. Now, it's gonna be on auto automatically, and the fan does have to be in auto for the furnace to kick in. If the fan's not in auto when you go to turn the furnace on, it's not going to turn on. You have to make sure you leave this on auto. If you are just wanting to run the fan, you can hit that plus or minus button whenever you're in the fan mode, and it's going to change it from low fan to high fan. That is just moving air around with the air conditioner, no cooling or heating involved. Hitting that button one more time will bring you into cool. Again, you got your plus or minus buttons to go up and down in temperature, but if you were to want to change that fan speed, you do just have to go back into fan to change it back to high, low, or automatic. Pressing that button one more time will take you down into the furnace setting. Whenever that furnace does fire, it runs for an additional 3 minutes after you turn it off, just as an added safety procedure for allowing it to cool off. And then hitting that button one more time takes it and turns it into the off mode. Whenever you are running your furnace, it's running off propane, and it is using all the floor portals you see where we have around the unit to disperse its air. And then underneath the bed here, you do have some storage, as well as the LP detector. Propane's heavier than air. If this guy ever starts going off, you are going to want to turn off the main supply propane to the unit, and just open up the windows and turn on the vents just to ventilate it out a little bit. And then on the bottom here, you do have your breaker panel, which has all your breakers. Whenever breaker trips, it's going to sit in the middle, so you just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. And then you have all your fuses on the top. If you open up this door, it'll bring you into the bathroom where you got your toilet and your shower. You got your light switch, which is going to be the closest one to me, and then the closest one to the wall. It's going to turn on that overhead fan, which this customer did opt to go with the max air fan, so you can run this fan all the time. That's going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.